everyone. I just want to welcome you all to the conversation. This conversation is going to be about mental health. So I am here with some of my wonderful, wonderful good friends as we discuss and talk about our stories about mental health. We're going to talk about some stories that maybe we've heard from some of our family members, and we're going to talk about even some of our own personal stories. So during this session, if you have any questions, if there is something that resonates with you that someone has said, I want you guys to conversate with us. Like, even though we are talking about our stories, this is called the conversation. So I want us all to have a conversation. So it might be a gold nugget. Somebody might say something. You might be like, you know what? Yes, that is me. So if that resonates with you, if that is for you, I want you to send a flame or something. Like, give me some type of emoji that says like, hey, this is about, that's me. I understand what she's saying. I feel what she is going through. Hey, I want to know. Ladies, do y'all want to know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we are about to really just go in. But before we do, I want to ask my sister, Heather Coleman, if she does not mind just giving us a prayer before we start our conversation.
Father, we thank you tonight for your grace and your mercy, for your love and your kindness. God, we thank you for just being God. You're good, you're amazing, you're powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing God. And there's nobody in this world that could ever take your place. God, we pause right now and we ask for your forgiveness for anything that we may have done, said, thought, or even felt or conjured up in our spirit that was not pleasing to your sight up until this moment. We ask for your forgiveness and we ask that you will wipe our slates clean. God, tonight I pray that during this conversation that we see you in another way, that we experience your love in another way, God, that we will see your mighty hand working through our lives, God, that we will see our mindset changing. We will see people healed, set free, and delivered even on this broadcast. God, this conversation is in your hands. Let our words be your words. Let our thoughts be your thoughts. Let the way we move or even operate tonight be in your will. God, we give you the glory. We give you the honor and all of the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather, for that awesome prayer. So again, we're about to get started. So first, I just want to welcome the ladies that are on this panel. We have Heather Coleman, who is wonderful. She is so awesome. She is an author of a book. You know, later on, she's going to give you a little bit about her book. She has been my friend for quite some time. So then I want her to also tell you a little bit about how she knows me. Okay. Now, wait a minute, guys. When y'all hear this story, hey, it's not my fault. That's all I got to say. It's not my fault. And then I have my other sister over here, Shon Mercy. She is phenomenal. We've actually been knowing each other for, I don't want to date myself, so I'm not going to say. But it has definitely been quite some time. But my sister, Shon Mercy, she has a podcast, and I encourage you all to go listen to her podcast. It is called Minutes of Mercy, and she gives some great words of encouragement. She gives some wisdom. So definitely go and check that out. So at this time, I'm going to ask the ladies, how do you know me? All right. And we're going to start with Heather.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not ready for this story.
Me either.
So I met Andrea back in 2011. I met Andrea in one of the most in one of my most unstable moments in life. I'll say that. And I met her through ministry. We grew up and we grew together in ministry. We grew together, just in here in Monroe, Louisiana. And one of the ways that we actually connected was her being more of a mentor to me. Let me tell y'all this story about Andrea and why. Can I share this story? I'm going to
go ahead. You know what? And also, I just want to say this. I also want to say this, like, this is, we are being very transparent. We're going to have a candid conversation. So whatever it is, hey, let's just throw it out there.
So let me tell you this story about Andrea. So Andrea is one of those bold, courageous, confident women that one of the most courageous and confident women that you would ever meet. And so meeting her, I thought I was on her level when I met her. When we talked about confidence and being courageous and being, a little grown up, I thought I was there. And it was one particular time where I didn't know who I was. And I went to Andrea's house. Y'all listen. Andrea, I was in the kitchen cutting up a tomato. And Andrea told me, "You cutting that tomato wrong."
Hey.
And it broke my heart. Just the tomato. When I tell you it broke me, it made me so mad. And so I flipped on Andrea. "I know how to cut a tomato. I'm grown. I got a son." Da, da, da. And Andrea said, "I'm just trying to teach you something." That moment was like one of the most, and I tell her this all the time, one of the most pivotal moments in my life. And I know it was something about a tomato, but growing up and learning who I was, that taught me so much about me. Taught me how to be teachable, taught me how to remain teachable, no matter where I am, what state of life I'm in. Just knowing how to remain teachable. And when somebody's teaching you something, receive it. Everything is not thrown at you to hurt you. It's really to help you. And so from that moment on, I gleaned from Andrea and I grew from her. So yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all this. She really kind of gave y'all the clean version of that tomato because typically when she talks about that tomato, she really goes in and she talked about how her feelings really were hurt. But anybody that knows me, hey, I just want to help in any way that I can. And yeah, she was doing it wrong. And you know me, I had my soft voice. I said, "Sweetie, you're doing that wrong. Look, girl, you need to fix that. That tomato is wrong." Because we was about to eat some tacos, y'all. And if you know me, the tacos, they got to be right. So, but anyway, that was the clean version. But I thank you. All right, Shon. So how do you know me? Don't tell the date though. Don't say when.
I'm not going to say the date, but I'm going to say the year. Excuse me, 2001. I met Andrea in 2001 when me and my family, my mom and dad and my sister moved into the Town and Country neighborhoods. He's seeing now. No, I'm just kidding. So moved into town in 2001, and she literally stayed directly across the street from me, and we met. And Andrea has also been like a pivotal part of my life as well, a pivotal inspiration in my life. She was one of those girls in high school that always had heels on, always was dressed really nice. And I really admired that about her. She was always such a lady of just class and poise and grace and sophistication. And I admired that so much about her. Until I became that, like that's what I aspired to be. And I saw that every day. We became fast friends. I saw that every day, her just dressing up and just being such a lady. And I admired that so much. And I just kind of mimicked what she did and mimicked, everything about her because I admire her so much. And we've been friends since 2001. Like I said, we became fast friends. We've been in ministry together, as well as Miss Coleman. We've all been in ministry together. And of course, there was a period where there was a break, but we got back together and we've been inseparable ever since. We're like the trio. The three of us have been inseparable, and I love these ladies so much. But yeah, that's just a little bit of how I know Drea.
Yes, yeah, awesome. Now y'all, okay, again. See, these ladies, they don't be giving you the whole version, but Shon told me something about a burgundy jacket that I wore.
I was going to mention that.
Okay, first of all, y'all, I didn't even remember the burgundy jacket until
we rode the bus
okay.
together. Listen, we rode the bus together, and I remember this day like it was yesterday when she got on the bus, y'all. She had this long burgundy trench coat on, y'all. She had heels. I was like, oh my God, this girl is so fly. I love this jacket. And I remind her about that all the time. Not as much as Heather reminds us about the tomato story, but I do remind her about the burgundy trench coat that I love so much.
Awesome. Okay. So so these are my ladies, and if you notice, if you can tell, like our chemistry, we just flow, we just mix well. I thank God that I had the opportunity to meet these ladies, that they are in my life, and that we learn from each other. And so with this topic that we're talking about today, this is something else that we were able to talk to each other about, get each other's insight. And then also when we was feeling like we couldn't talk to anybody else. So first, I just want to share my story about my battle with mental health. And again, if any of this resonates with anyone, please leave a comment, say something in the comments, and also share this live. Share this on your page. Let your friends know, hey, they're talking about mental health. Let your family know they're talking about mental health, because mental health is something that is very, very, very important. And we saw the magnitude of the impact that mental health has, even when we was watching the show with Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey. So we see that mental health does not discriminate on who you are. Right. It don't discriminate. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It does not matter how you dress. It doesn't matter what car you drive. It doesn't matter where you live. Mental health does not discriminate. And something about it is that everyone should have someone that they could be able to talk to. One thing about it, and this is just for me, it's hard sometimes talking about it, because the way it shows up in households, or the way that it'll show up in the Black community, especially, it's like it's a stigma to it. As soon as you feeling like you're having a bad day, or you might be isolating yourself, or just because your behaviors have changed, people tend to call you crazy, or they say, what's wrong? Something wrong with you. And so you don't want to be labeled as crazy, or something's wrong with me, or don't mind her, she be all right. She just acting the way she just acting. Those things hurt. And I'm going to say that again, those things hurt. We don't understand how much our words hurt. And it's very important to check in on our family members. We even want to check in. And ladies on the panel, you can chime in at any time. We even want to check in on our strong family members, the ones that you feel like, oh, she's strong, she got this, oh, she's been doing this, oh, she rocks like this, or she does this, or she's always busy. Even the strongest ones need to be checked in on. So, but like I say, I'm just going to talk about a little bit about my story. My story begins in, I want to say 2007. It was just one night I was sitting at work, and my body legitimately just went haywire. And when I say haywire, I mean haywire. I'm going from hot to cold to passing out, unresponsive, like literally like my body went haywire. And only to find out the reason my body was doing that was because I had so much stress on me. And I did not understand what it was. I never forget, I went to the doctor at one point, and she told me, she said, stress is like, she said, no, she said, she told me, she said, this is you. She said, you're like this cabinet up here. You stuff all of your problems, all situations in this cabinet. And she said, now you've at a point where you just exploded. Like you done, the cabinet has popped open, and that's your body. That's the reason your body is going haywire, because it's unbalanced. And so now at this point, it's trying to find the balance, because you have so much stress or so much put on your body. And so that's what I was trying to learn and just navigate through what was going on with my body and my own personal mental health. And so I battle with depression. I battle with anxiety. And those are just some of the two things that I battle with, and I battle with those things daily. Yes. Just for anyone that's out there that might ask, yes, I'm definitely a woman of God. Yes, I love the Lord. But guess what? I still have my battles. Yes, I do pray. Yes, I'm a faithful woman, but I still have my battles. There are still days where I don't want to get up. I don't want to get out the bed. There are days where I don't want an encouraging word. I don't. There are days where I don't even want to encourage myself. And that's just me. And that's just me being real. I want to have a real conversation, because there is somebody out there that is going through this. That's like, you know what? That's how I feel. There are moments where I just can't get out the bed, and I don't know why. There are moments where I find myself in isolation, and I don't know why I've isolated myself. Or I've noticed that my behavior has changed, or it's been some changes going on with me, and I don't understand why. And so these are the things where I'm saying, like, I've experienced those things. I know what it feels like to go through this, to battle with this. I know what it feels like when you look at yourself trying to figure out, well, what's wrong with me? Because nobody else is going through this. So then you feel like you're suffering in silence. Well, you are suffering in silence, because then you don't want to tell nobody what's going on with you, because you feel like nobody else is going to understand. And so I see my sister Heather over there, nodding her head, So tell me a little bit, Heather, what are you thinking? Like, when you was nodding your head, what were you thinking about?
I was thinking, like, you know how a lot of times we don't want that encouragement when you're battling that when you're in that moment, we don't want it personally, but our spirit is crying for it. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of times, I'm gonna speak for myself. When I find myself in those moments, it's almost like I don't want it, but I want it. I don't want it, but I need it. Yeah. I'm not going to ask for it because my flesh really don't want it, but my spirit is crying. I need it. I need it. And when we get to those moments, if we don't have a circle of people that can identify when we're in that place, it's almost like, oh, she don't want it. We'll just leave her alone. But when you can identify that somebody is really in that moment, you give it to them anyway, because it's not them. It's their flesh that really saying, I don't want it, but their spirit is crying out for it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It makes a lot of sense. Shon, anything you want to add?
No, you guys said it perfectly.
Okay. So Heather, would you like to share your story?
Yeah. So, I would say mine started, I would say it started at when I was young. However, I did not identify it until I got older. Right. And I think it came from a multiple levels of dysfunction or multiple levels of disappointment or hurt or trauma. And so when all of these things are piled up and you really don't know where it's coming from, you don't know why it's there, you don't know why you're dealing with it, you battle, and it's really mental, to say the least. You battle mentally because you don't understand. But when I got older, that's when I identified it, and it got a little bit harder because now that I know it, now I got to learn how to combat it. Now I got to learn how to deal with it, you know? So I would say mine started when I was a little younger, when I was molested by a family member. And from that place, it made me go into a secluded place because I felt like I was alone. If I say something, I'm going to get in trouble. Or if a family member do this. So now I'm battling in my mind and don't even know it. I just think I'm trying to protect myself.
Yeah.
And so family sees it as, oh, she's just a kid. She's just acting out. She's just doing whatever. Like you said earlier, we just acting out. It's just a normal thing. She acts like this. And so I believed it until I got older and I identified it. Dang, I'm battling depression and this is bad and I got to deal with it. Now I got to deal with multiple years of trauma and multiple years of dysfunctional family, organism. Like I got to deal with all of that. So I think that's when mine started, when I was a little younger. Yeah. We being transparent, right?
we are definitely being transparent. And I'm gonna say it again. Like, this is a transparent conversation. So if you're not ready for honesty, if you're not ready to see, and hold on, let me say this. Because I always like to make this point. So just because the presentation looks good, and I'm gonna rewind that and say it again. Just because the presentation looks good doesn't mean that the person on the inside is good. Because one thing about me, and sisters, let me know if y'all agree. One thing about me is I was taught how to make the image look good. Because it goes back to that saying, what happens in this house does what?
Stays in this house.
It stays in this house. So whatever chaos that I have going on the inside of me, you're not going to see it, because this presentation, this house, when it goes out, it's going to look good.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I can't remember what I'm really trying to say, but we took in the term of, I don't look like what I've been through a little too far. Like sometimes, let me tell you something. Sometimes just so you can get my testimony, just so you can understand what I've been through, I'm gonna need to look like what I've been through, so you can know that I've been through something. Yeah. Because you know what? I find it where we don't want to go to that person because we're like, oh, you know what? You look like you never been through nothing. So I don't want to come talk to you.
Hello.
But hold on. Now I do. I love to dress up. Like they just told you, I've always dressed up, from junior high. Presentation looks good, but it doesn't mean that the person on the inside is always good.
I can totally, if I can interject, I can totally sympathize with that and totally share my experience, because I too have the same experience with making it look good, making the appearance look good, making the presentation look good, but inside I'm crumbling. You know what I mean? I'm a person too that struggles with anxiety and the need to just be perfect in everything. I'm a person, I talk to them about it all the time, where if you come in my house, you're not going to find nothing out of place. You're not visibly going to find anything out of place. But if you open them drawers, you open that storage room, it's a hot mess. And that's literally how it's been for me. I'm one of those people that you just don't think go through anything. Like, I'm just literally one of those people that's always happy, always bubbly, just always just have this infectious personality. But inside, crumbling. And even with some of my close friends, I don't share with. You know what I'm saying? There are some friends that I do share with, but when I'm really, really battling or going through, I don't share it with them. And that's been one of the things for me that has been my downfall, by not sharing, because there are people that can relate to what you're going through. There are people that has been through what you're going through. And as and I don't think I've said this before, but you cannot heal what you do not reveal. Like, you have to.
Oh, I don't know if y'all heard her. I'm sorry, y'all. But that was something good. Say it again.
Oh my God. Y'all are crazy. But you can't heal what you don't reveal. You have to find somebody. You don't have to tell everybody, but you have to find somebody that can be your listening ear, somebody that can just encourage you, somebody that has been through what you've been through, because everybody has been through something. Everybody has gone through something. Everybody has their stories. Everybody has testimonies. Everybody has gone through something. The Bible says that we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimonies. That is how we overcome, by testimonies. You have to share with what you're going through, because you never know what you're going through may help the person that you're sharing with. She may need somebody to confide in, or she may need somebody to share with too. She may be a person that says, oh, I didn't know you were dealing with that, because you just always seem like such a strong person or whatever. She may open up and tell you her story. You always have to have somebody that you can share your testimony or share what you're going through with, because you can get your healing from that person, and that person can very well get their healing from you.
Yeah.
Come on now. So we actually just had someone make a comment, and what they said was just like, it was awesome. So Jessica says, I think we've been programmed to automatically think that our struggles equal weaknesses. Come on now.
That's real.
Ain't that?
That's real.
Jessica, talk about it. But she's so right, though.
Yeah.
Because we've been so conditioned. Yes. And that's really like the ultimate thing, that we've been conditioned that whatever we go through, our struggles is a weakness, and we can't let people know what we're going through. Like, it took me, so we're being candid, we're being transparent. Even to this day, it is still hard for me to share. And I don't even know why the Lord put this on me to do this like this. But it was like, even I think a couple of days ago, it was hard for me to share the fact that I was in a depressive state to my husband, because I felt like if I told him how I was feeling or what was going on, that one, he wasn't going to understand.
Yeah.
And then two, because I've always been that go-getter, that mover, that hustler, that grinder, that I'm always doing this, and focus on everything, that he's going to be like, oh, okay, well, get yourself together and keep moving. Yeah. But some days I don't want to keep moving. Yeah. Some days I can't. And that's what's hard.
Yeah.
And I feel vulnerable because I'm in that vulnerable state, and I want to share it, and I want the understanding.
Yeah.
But everybody's not going to understand what you're going through, because everybody didn't come from the same social environment or the same family environment that I came from. Or everybody just don't, some people, they just don't understand. They just don't get it. because it's not a physical sickness, so to speak, because there are behaviors that come with it, but it's not a physical one. It's a mental one.
Yeah.
It's one that's in the mind.
It can become physical if we don't check our mental health, and I believe we don't share because it's never been a comfortable thing to share. You know what I'm saying? It's never been made okay. Like now, like in 2020, I believe we just started talking about the prevalency of mental health. People just started coming out saying that, oh, they battle with mental. It just became popular to say, oh, I have issues with my mental health. Oh, I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with depression. It just became something that people are being open to hearing about, being open to expressing. You know what I mean? It wasn't okay back then. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I believe we're not comfortable with saying, okay, I have a problem, I have an issue, because it just wasn't, what's the word that I'm looking for? It just wasn't accepted, I would say. Yes. It wasn't accepted as normal, as a normal thing. But battling like mental health, everybody has mental health. Everybody has a mental health issue. I don't care who you are. Nobody's going to tell me that they don't have an issue with their mental health. Everybody has something that they're dealing with that they don't want to share with somebody, especially if you're Black, especially if you are Black or a person of color, you deal with mental health. You have an issue with mental health. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just about having conversations like this and just being open to talking about it so that you can find healing, so that you can get healing from hearing somebody else's story, so that you can get healing from relating to somebody else's story, so that you can begin to open up and free yourself, from the mental health issues that you're going through, so that you can get tools and things that you can use so that you can do better with your mental health and your mental well-being.
Yes, exactly. I so agree. So someone just said that sometimes you don't know that you're in a depressive state. And you're right. And that came from Kim. Kim said sometimes you don't know that you're sitting in a depressive state. And you know what? You are so right. You are so right. Because that even happened with me. I didn't realize that I was depressed until it got to the point where I committed, and I say committed. It wasn't an attempt. I did it. It was just that the Lord didn't let me go. Suicide. When I got to the place where I was sitting on the ground, because the pills that I consume. So anybody that really knows, like, okay, I've been battling with this, and they gave me like tons of medication at the hospital. And so what did I do? One day I decided, you know what? I don't want to live no more. I don't want to do this no more. Like, this is getting too much. Because one, I'm tired of going back and forth into the hospital. I'm tired of people, because every time I have a seizure or a panic attack or whatever happens, people think that I'm some drug addict, or they think that I've OD'd, or they have every negative connotation about me, everything they want to stick on me. And the thing about it is, I'm just stressed.
Yeah.
I'm just stressed, and it's a lot of crap that's going on in my life, in my circle.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to the hospital and deal with racist remarks.
Yeah.
Let's just be real what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to a point for me where I didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to do it no more. And so I took all the pills. I laid down in my bed and I closed my eyes, because that's the place where I was at. I didn't even know. I'm with you, Kim. I didn't even know I was even depressed. I just knew for a point of the fact that I did not want to live here no more.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I legitimately said, guess what? This world ain't my home.
Yeah.
And when and so after I did it, I called my girlfriend and she wasn't available. And so this is where I truly believe that some people are in your life just for a pivotal moment. I called someone that I went to beauty school with. I said, hey, I need you to take me to the hospital. And she said, oh, girl, I'm down the street from your house.
Right there.
She gets me, she takes me to the hospital. Get to the hospital. I done went through multiple testing. They've x-rayed me. And the doctor says, I can't find nothing.
Wow.
Excuse me. Like, I know what I just digested. I know what I just took.
Yeah.
But my stomach was hurting so bad. I was in so much pain that I felt more comfort being on the floor than I did being in the bed.
Wow.
And every time the doctor or the nurse would come in, they would say, ma'am, we need you to get in the bed. But I only found comfort on the floor for what I had just done. The act that I had just committed, I didn't feel comfortable until I got on the floor.
Yeah.
And so that's just to give you another briefer, because there have been moments and moments and moments in my life where I have had certain situations and circumstances and things that happen.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and the reason I'm having this conversation, and the reason that I want to be transparent about my story, and I'm pretty sure the other ladies agree, is because we want to help somebody else. And like Shon said earlier, you can't heal what you won't reveal.
Yeah.
And it is time to reveal our stories. It's time to be transparent so that we can help somebody else. Because guess what? Your situation may look like ours, and you might not know what you stuck in.
Yeah.
But when you hear the story, you're like, you know what? Hold on, wait. Let me regroup. Let me put this together. Because when I'm in a depressive state, and as I've shared with my sisters before, I can continue to do my necessity routines.
Yeah.
So with my son, I can take him to school. But guess what? When I get back home, I'm getting back in the bed. All the curtains are closed. I don't want to move. I'm not going to move. And I've turned my cell phone on silent.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the room and I'm crying. And I just don't want to do nothing. And that's what you will find yourself doing. It's because one thing about me is, as you see, I'm energetic, I'm bubbly. And that is like really my actual personality. I like to be in the center of people. I like being with people. Like, I vibe well with people. But then I pulled myself away.
Yeah.
I socially withdrew myself from people. I withdrew myself from my family. My mom, I talk to her like all the time. I live around the corner from my mom, and I ain't want to go over there.
Yeah. If we can go back to, well, I think this is what you were piggybacking off of what Kim said. Sometimes you just don't know that you can be in a depressive state for so long and just not know. I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier, because mental health was not, a thing that people talked about, or not a thing that was common, or a thing that kind of people just really didn't take serious. You know what I'm saying? It may have caused us to not take it serious either. You know what I'm saying? And when mental health goes unchecked, you know what I'm saying? And that's when you reach that breaking point that you were talking about earlier, when you suppress and suppress and suppress and suppress, and you eventually just explode because it's been unchecked for so long. But I want people to understand that it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
It's okay not to be okay. The Bible says that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness, but that is only when we are willing to admit that we are weak. We have to be able to check when we're not feeling okay. It's okay to say today ain't the day. I don't know what it is. Today is just
Yeah.
not the day. I just need to, you know what I'm saying? I just need my girls. I need to do this. And it's okay not to be okay. You are entitled. You are very much entitled to those days, but find tools when you do have those days. Find a way to pull yourself out. Be real with yourself.
Yes.
Be real. You know what I'm saying? That is a part of checking your mental health. Be real. It's a struggle out here, especially again for Black people and people of color. The struggle is all the way real. You know what I mean? And we have to be real with the space that we're in, with that place that we're in our life. We have to be real. That is the only way that we can check our mental health, and that is the only way that we can find tools to help pull us out. You know what I mean? And I think it just gets worse when we're not honest with ourselves and honest with the way that we're feeling about ourselves or about the space that we're in life. If we're not honest, it just doesn't help us any. It hurts us more because we're suppressing still. You know what I mean? But that is the only way that we can get out, is just by admitting that there's an issue. Yeah. And then finding those tools or those people, that can help us with the issues that we have.
So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's on the live. We're not leaving yet, but I just want to thank you all. Thank everyone that's on. If you have any questions, please shoot your questions in. Again, if it's something that we've said that's resonating with you and you're like, oh, that's good, please, drop a fire emoji or say something like, that resonated with me, or like, she on my block, I'm feeling this, whatever it is, but let us know that this conversation is resonating with you. And we do have more coming for next Wednesdays of this month. We're going to be having the conversation on mental health every Wednesday for this entire month. And so we are going to talk about this and just open up the door about mental health and be transparent and be candid and just be honest about what it is and what our stories is and how it has affected us. So ladies, Heather, so I know we were talking about, depression and anxiety. What are some challenges that you found when you are in that state of in depression or either in anxiety? What are your challenges that you found that you have?
I know one of the challenges that's like really, really strong whenever I'm in that state is that I have a challenge with accepting that I am who God has called me to be. Let me say that. And when I say that goes in every area, not just the preacher, not just the singer, but the mother, the sister, the friend, every area of my life. I have a hard time accepting that I am who God says I am. It's because all of those thoughts and all of those, every horrible situation seems to overpower the truth that God has given me, right? So I want to share this because it's really sitting on me. I had a moment when I really identified that I was really battling depression. And I was like, how do I combat this, or how do I deal with this? And God spoke to me and said, Heather, even my son battled with this. Mm-hmm. So don't think that just because you have a position or a title that you won't have this same situation. Yeah, and in those moments, Jesus, even in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was there, and Satan came speaking in his mind, telling him, hey, this is what I'll give you this if you do this, or I'll give you the world if you just let yourself go. And in those moments, he had to identify that he was still who God called him to be. his son. And so in those moments, I had to really sit back and say, Heather, I battle, because that's the area where the enemy plays with me the most in my mind, is that this is not who you are.
Yeah.
Why are you still living? Why are you still here? Why are you still trying? Don't you see every time you try, you fail? Don't you see every time you try this and when you went here, they did this to you, or when you did this, this happened. And those moments, God said, hey, even Jesus couldn't do that. Even Jesus was battling mentally. But guess what he did? In those moments, he never doubted who he was. Even in his power, knowing that he was Christ. Like, you have those moments too. What more can I do for you? If I've done it for my son, I can do it for you. Yeah. I hope I made sense. So
no, you made perfect sense. Matter of fact, they are hitting you up in the chat. Like in the comments, they're like, yes, that makes sense. Like that has happened to me. And you are so right. And when you're going through your battle, because you're right, it's definitely going to be in the mouth, in the mind. And I love the book that Joyce Myers has, The Battlefield of the Mind, because it's legitly like the enemy would try to get you in your mind. If he has your mind, if anybody, and I'm going to say the enemy or your boo thing, you know, your boyfriend, if anybody, if they can get you in the mind, they got you.
Yeah.
They got you. And that's where you fight hard to not allow those strongholds to keep a hold of us.
Yeah.
And we have to break those strongholds. But at the same time, you have to know, and like Heather said before, you have to know who you are.
Absolutely.
And you got to know whose you are. And you got to talk to yourself. And I know, like I said earlier, sometimes I don't want the encouragement, but guess what? At the end of the day, when I'm finished waddling or sitting in my mess or sitting in that depressive state, I tell myself, okay, it's time to get up, Andrea. It's time to get up. All right, now you know who you are. You are the head and not the tail, honey. You are above and not beneath, honey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to get up. You are the child of the Most High King, honey. You are royalty. You are a queen. Come on now. You know you better work it. You better work that confidence. You better show us what you got, because you are amazing. You are bold. You are beautiful. You are phenomenal. Like, come on now. And you have to talk to yourself, and you have to tell yourself, like, I have the power to create the day that I want.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the power to create the day that I want. And you have to speak over your day.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to kind of to just piggyback off of what you said, as it relates to you talking to yourself. Sometimes it's your own voice, you know what I'm saying, that beats you down, or it's your own voice that discourages you. And I know that to be true, because that's true for me. Like, I can't listen to myself encourage me, because sometimes your greatest enemy is your inner self. Sometimes the greatest enemy is your inner self. I can't listen to me sometimes. That's why I have, you know, like, I'm a person that has this issue with perfection, wanting to be perfect all the time. And I can't say affirmations to me, because I'm the one that beats me down. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
Sometimes you just need somebody else's voice. You know what I mean? I can't hear me, because I'm going to discourage me. Because in this situation, I am my greatest enemy. I'm going to discourage you. So I need my sisters to say, Shon, now you know. You know, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm the type of person. I'm not going, I have all of these ideas and all of these good things and all of this wisdom and all of these good things that God has given me and dropped on me. You know what I'm saying? And I call y'all and tell y'all, this is what I'm going to do. You know, this is what I'm going to do. But then when I get off the phone with y'all, you know what I'm saying? You guys are encouraging, very encouraging to me. I get off the phone with y'all and I got to listen to me. tell me that I can't do it. I got to listen to me say, no, this is not good enough. I'll put in the work. I will put in the work, okay? But at the end of the day, if it's not what it should be, I'm the type of person that will tell myself, this ain't what it is. I'm gonna drop it. It ain't good enough. You're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do. And my sisters would tell me all the time, girl, like you so da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. I'm this. And then I'll get off the phone with them and I will shoot myself down every time. Every time. You know? So sometimes it's you can't listen. Well, I can't. I'll speak for me. Sometimes I can't listen to me because I'm the voice that demeans me. I'm the voice that tells me I can't do it. I need somebody else's voice until I get stronger, until I can believe, you know, what I'm saying to me. You know what I mean? Until I can believe what I'm saying to myself, I need somebody else's voice to tell me that I'm good enough. You know what I mean? And I need that constantly. Like I'm that person that needs it constantly. I need that constant encouragement. I need those constant words from other people, not from myself. Because if I left it up to me, I'm not going to do nothing because I don't believe a word that I say to myself.
And you're right. You're right. Like you said, sometimes, and I'm gonna say this, I had to get to that place. So sometimes when you can't listen to your own voice, I started following somebody on YouTube, and her name was Lisa Nichols, and I used to listen to Lisa Nichols encourage me because Lisa Nichols taught me and showed me how to encourage me. Because this is what I want you all to understand, and our time is definitely wrapping up, and I have enjoyed this conversation. But this is what I want some of you to understand. Just because we say that we are here, that we're over there, that's not how we started. And I say that because guess what? Everybody, you too, just because you are there today, that's not where you started.
Yeah.
Because you had to get there. You had to go through some stuff to get to where you are. And that's why we're having this conversation. Because before we got where we are, we had to go through some stuff. Before we got to the place like how I was just spitting off those affirmations, yeah, that's because I know them now. But when I first started, when I told you that my friend had to come pick me up and take me to the hospital because I hadn't took so many pills because I wanted to kill myself, affirmations were nowhere on my mind. Who getting affirmed? Not I. At first, and what's going to happen is I'm about to get cussed out because my mom about to find out. That's what's going to happen. You know, but you have to get to a place to where you can. And Shon, I want to tell you that it's okay. It is definitely okay if right now you don't hear or you can't hear your voice right now. And for anybody else that has resonated with you of what Shon just said, and you're like, but how do I do it? Where do I find it? Okay. That's why all this technology in the world.
Yeah.
Jump YouTube. Listen to some people with affirmations. Find affirmations that are personalized to you.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't be affirmed with the same affirmation.
Yeah.
It just don't work. Like, okay, I am beautiful. Guess what? I know that already. That's one thing I ain't shortchanged of. Ain't nothing shortchanged to me to talk about how beautiful and gorgeous, and I ain't shortchanged in that area. So I need a new affirmation because your affirmations change by the level and the growth that you are going. They change per your situation. They change per your timing. Things change and they evolve because every situation you're in is not going to be the same situation. Because today it might be I need affirmation on my beauty or on this insecurity that I have, but then tomorrow I might need an affirmation or something to help me on my finances because that's what got me down. Because I'm in a financial slump.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know, like, it ain't gonna always look the same.
Yeah.
But so I just want my sisters to kind of give some words of encouragement, 3 minutes, so that we can wrap this up. Because like I said, you know, this is only going to be an hour broadcast, an hour live. We will be back again next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, I will have 2 other phenomenal guests that are going to join me. It will be of Shanae Heron and Davina Coleman, who is going to join me next Wednesday. Same place, same time. And I want y'all to be ready. All right. Who else wants to go first? Heather, you like to go first?
You can let Shon go first.
I would say, as I've stated throughout this broadcast, is for the people that are battling and that don't mind sharing, or that do mind sharing, or whatever the case, it is okay not to be okay. It's okay. It's like, it's really normal. We just hadn't normalized it yet. Okay. But it is okay not to be okay, and find somebody, find a support group. It's okay to see a therapist. You know, I know it's taboo, but I'm telling you today, it is okay to see a therapist. It is okay to talk about your troubles and your struggles. It is okay. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're crazy because you are admitting that you have struggles, or that you're admitting that you have battles that you're dealing with, because you don't want to suppress them anymore. It is okay not to be okay. We don't want to be like, and for those people that are on the other end of it, please be accepting to people that are sharing what they're going through. We don't want to be like Piers Morgan and say that Meghan Markle was lying about, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but don't say that people are not going through when they say they're going through. You're going to hurt other people. You know what I'm saying? Because those people that come out and say that they have an issue, that helps to pull somebody else out and say that, hey, I have an issue too. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that person that shuns somebody or that calls somebody crazy when they tell you that they have a mental health issue, that they want to see a therapist or anything like that. But like I said, it's okay not to be okay, and be willing to admit that you are struggling. Be willing to admit that so that you can get the help that you are so desperately needing. And I'm talking to myself too, because I told my sisters that, listen, I don't know about this transparency thing. I can't do that. I don't know if I can get on there and say what I'm going through, but I'm so comfortable with them, and I know that what I'm going through, somebody else may be going through something similar. And so I did want to share a little bit of my truth and a little bit of who I am, so that you guys can understand that I too, I'm not always happy-go-lucky Shon. You know, behind closed doors, Shon struggles too. I have my battles, I have my struggles, and I'm glad that I have a support group that I can go to when I am feeling what I'm feeling. So be okay with opening up and sharing what you're going through with somebody that you trust. Be okay with seeing a therapist. Be okay with getting a support group. The sooner that you can do that, the sooner that you can find your healing.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. Heather, you'd like to share some encouraging words? I'm sorry, your sister kind of took a lot of your time.
It's perfectly fine. I just want to say, you are not alone, and you have someone somewhere that's praying for you and with you. And also, don't be afraid to express what you're going through, even if it means talking to a total stranger.
Yeah,
because I find that even talking to strangers, you have the most, you're in your most vulnerable state, and they take a listen. They listen a little bit more than people that you know. Yeah. So please, that's all I gotta say. You're not alone. Awesome. And you got a friend in me.
Anything, just talk, release it. Don't suppress it. If anything, just release it. Even if you just gotta talk by yourself, just release. Don't